So let's get started. There's a lot of information to go through today. I am not going to go through every slide. That is for you to go through in your own time, at your own pace, with your account, going through the steps. I'm mostly going to be in a principal account, showing you what I'm talking about and showing you how you would go about updating each section of your directory. All right. So connecting your school together. First things first is if you are new to ClassDojo, even if you maybe have some teachers that have been using it for a while at your school, but you don't have an account yet, then this slide takes you step by step on how you would sign up for a school leader account, preferably using your school email and putting in your name and email, and then searching for your school. Most schools are in our system. We have lots of schools that are listings in our systems. So schools don't have accounts. They are simply a listing with a name and an address and maybe a domain. And then you're going to find that listing and request to associate your account with the listing. Same with your teachers. They create their own accounts and they request to associate their account with that school. You're going to verify your email is your email. And then once you verify the email belongs to you, then you get verified in your role at your school. Same with teachers. So if you're the first one to join a school, you're going to get either auto-verified by your email domain, matching the domain we have for your school listing in our system, or you're going to be able to get verified by our team. And there are a few things that we'll ask for you to show us that you are in your role at your school, and then we can verify your account. When that happens, that means you have access to all of the school-wide features within the directory, like School Story for those school-wide announcements, and your school directory, which is where you can see all of the teachers and students in your school and all the classes. So once you've gotten your school leader account created, you can move forward with all of the things that we'll be talking about in this webinar. There are a few things I want to mention with roles, because we have a new role this back to school. So we've always had school leader and mentor roles, or we have had them for a while. School leaders being principals, assistant principals, directors, those in charge of the school and staff. So school leader account can do all the things in an account to manage the directory and the school story. Mentor is a role that a teacher can volunteer to be in, to be the dojo advocate in their school. Schools can have as many mentors as you want, and the mentor teachers are those go-to support staff that are going to be able to answer other teachers who are new to ClassDojo. They're going to be able to answer their questions about features and getting set up and messaging parents and all the things. They also can invite teachers and accept teacher requests to join your school. And now we've got an admin role. That is for somebody that may not actually be a school leader, but maybe someone in your office, maybe the secretary, maybe a tech specialist in your school, or it could be a teacher that is going to help you manage the directory, meaning removing teachers, adding teachers, removing students and adding new students. They are able also to do a lot of transferring of classes or adding teachers to classes, even if they're not connected to the class. And so a lot of the school leader features are abilities that an admin support role can also do. And so if you're a school leader or admin, then within your account, I'll show you, you'll be able to click on a staff member in your directory, and also you can give them the ability to be an admin as well. All right, so we first want to start with our staff list. So as you can see, I've got my principal account up, and this is the school story. The next tab over, this is where we're going to mostly be talking about your directory. So I always first advise, let's remove teachers that are no longer at the school and make those adjustments. You're going to check over your staff list and make sure everybody is a teacher at your school or plans to be a teacher at your school. If you see a little red, all this means is that the teacher has not verified their email address. So they're verified in that they're confirmed as a teacher at your school because they're in your directory, but they haven't verified their email address. I would give them a little nudge and just remind them, hey, go into your account, click resend the email verification email, and just do that because that helps us to always know when we can actually send, if a teacher wants, let's say, us to download their students' story posts or portfolio posts, things like that. We need them to have verified their email address. So you can go through that list, check that. You can check inactive teachers. Maybe they haven't been around for a while. So you're going to click next to the little bubble and the little arrow and click remove from school. So when you do that for a teacher, if I was to go to Lauren here, and I wanted to remove her from the school, it's going to ask me, this teacher might have active classes and there are likely classes that belong to your school. So who do you want to take ownership of any classes, active classes that this teacher might still have going on? So you can either click or choose yourself or another teacher to now, those classes are going to be moved over to your account so that the teacher leaving your school will have a blank account, not have access to those classes that they were housing in their account anymore, and they can continue using ClassDojo now at their new school. Or they can delete their account and those classes won't be deleted with their account. So once you've chosen yourself or another teacher, then you're going to see those classes pop up here in your left side class menu. All right. And if they are not going to be used, then you simply archive them and they're going to stay down here under your archived classes. If you click that, you'll see all the old classes. As you know, we work on an archival system, so classes can't be deleted, but they can be archived and hidden away, but you can always go back and access or go into a class if needed. So once you remove teachers no longer at your school, you're ready to invite teachers that maybe don't have an account yet or aren't connected. And you can do that by copying a link and sharing that out to your staff. Or if you just have 2 teachers that need to be invited, you can just do that here. If you are wanting to invite, let's say, 20, 25 teachers, you can import a list with their name and email. Just make sure you know the email that they plan to use for their ClassDojo account. If you send the invite email to their school email, but then they sign up for ClassDojo with their personal email, like a Gmail, then they won't be able to get automatically verified. But if you send the invite to their school email, they sign up with their school email, then they're automatically going to be connected to your school upon their account creation. All right. So we've invited all of our new teachers and we've got everyone on board. Let's move on to our students. Okay, so student tab here, this is where you can see how many active or current students you have in your directory. If you've been graduating students, which is like making them inactive so that their parents no longer see school story posts and they cannot be added to any new classes. So if you are graduating students that move on from your school, or you're going to make a student graduated for a little while if they're going to be on leave and then you think they may come back to your school, you can also graduate them. Those students are at the very bottom of your directory and you may have 100 and that does not count in your total up here. Okay, so these are 216 that are under all of these grade categories, including other, including no active classes, and including no classes. So when I want to remove students that are no longer at my school, you have the choice of either graduating those. Let's say you have 6th graders leaving and going to middle school. You can graduate those students, or if you just want to remove them from your directory, then you can simply remove them. So I would go to that grade that those students are in, and I would click on these 3 dots to the right. If I want to graduate students within that grade, I click graduate, I select those students, and I can bulk graduate them. If I just want to remove them from the directory, I can now remove more than 1 student at a time. Woohoo! Yay! So this is new. This is really helpful. Now you can bulk remove students in a grade category at one time. So I'm going to deselect the ones that I want to keep and then remove those students. Removing students from your directory doesn't actually remove them from any classes that they've been added to. So just keep that in mind. If you have a situation where you need to remove all data and information on a student that was at your school, then you'd want to go into old classes that they've been added to, or go into classes that they're in, remove them from those classes, then go to your directory and remove the student's name, and then all of their information will be gone and out of your ClassDojo classes and directory. All right, so once I have done that cleanup, you may be looking and be like, oh, but Alan, awesome, he's actually in 5th grade, not 4th grade. That change and that moving up into a different grade category happens when Alan is added to his 5th grade class. Then his name is going to jump up under 5th grade. Right now, out of the classes he's in, likely these classes here, the first 3 or 4, let's say, are archived and old. And his Star Wars class is the only active class he's in, and it's a 4th grade class, which is why he's under the 4th grade category. And once that Star Wars 4th grade class gets archived and he gets added to his new 5th grade class, then Alan is going to jump up and appear under 5th grade. Okay. So as we go down, we've got other category. Just means that a teacher, when they created the class, they assigned the grade category as other. Could be they had a combo grade class with 3rd and 4th graders and they weren't sure what grade to assign the class to, so they chose other. Sometimes that happens for music classes, PE classes, right? Specials classes. All these students here, no active classes means Molly was in 1 class and it's archived right now. So she is not in any active classes. That is why she's here. But once she gets added to her new class for the fall, then her name's going to jump up to that 2nd grade or 3rd grade category. And as we go down here, all these students, if you click on them, they have never been added to a class. And so when you go to add students, if you are needing to add a lot of students, it's very, very easy to copy and paste a list. So you can export a list from any kind of student management system that you might be using at your school. And you can copy and paste from an Excel spreadsheet or a CSV, from a Word doc, putting in the student's first and last name and parent email. You don't have to put in a parent email, but it does make connecting for parents a lot simpler. And I will go over how that happens later. But doing that will be helpful for parents. And then you can always, once the student's in the classroom, teachers can always invite more parents. So if there are 3 family members that need to be connected to a student, they can do that within the class. So once I import, let's say, a list of 100 students, all those students then are going to appear under no classes. And as they get pulled into classes by you or the teachers, then they will hop up to the different grade headings in your list. All right. So Another tool we have is the merge tool. So if you do see that you have a student right here, I can see I have 2 Anna Joneses, and I can click on them and I can merge Anna. So I only have 1 Anna in my directory. You can merge 2 students if only one of those duplicate listings has been connected to parents and the other has not. If you have if I had 2 Annas in my directory and they had both been connected, parents had been connected to them, then I wouldn't be able to merge them. If Anna had also logged into her student account through both of her identities, so she has 2 student accounts technically, and she was using them both, they also wouldn't be able to be merged. So then you would just look at Anna, look at both listings of Anna and decide which one had been in your directory the longest, which one had been added to the most classes, and you would likely want to keep that one in your directory and then remove the other one. Not ideal, but in the long run, you don't want duplicate listings of your students in the directory. It makes for confusion on parents' end because they'll see 2 avatars for their child, and their child will then have different accounts. When you have 1 listing of a student in your directory, that student may be in 3 or 4 classes. And when they log into that 1 account, they'll be able to see all of their classes and do all of their assigned activities for their classes within that 1 account, as opposed to having different accounts for different classes if different versions of that student were in different classes. So start out with a clean directory where you've got 1 listing of each student and you'll be good to go. All right, so moving on to classes. This is where you kind of see an inventory list of the classes owned by teachers that are verified at your school, that are in your directory. And what do I mean by owned? It means that the teacher created the class, and if they create the class, they become the owner of the class. So that class and the information in the class is housed within their account. A class can be transferred from one owner to another. So as a school leader, you could create all the classes for the fall, and then you could transfer each class to the teacher that will actually be teaching the class. You could also stay the owner and add the teacher, let's say the 3 team teachers that are going to be teaching that class. You can add the 3 of them as co-teachers to the class and still own the class. You could also transfer ownership, like I said, and remain a co-teacher in the class. As a school leader, you may want to have access to every class. And if you, over here in your menu, want to have all of the 20 classes at your school listed, and you want to be able to go into each one to see students' points, you want to be able to give feedback and points to students, then I would recommend either just creating all the classes so that you're automatically in each one, or going into the directory here under classes and going down the list, add co-teacher and adding yourself. So you would see yourself at the top. Not a good example because I own this class. As you can see, it says you. So I created and own this class, but right here, Miss Clancy owns it. And I could add myself as a co-teacher to the class. Okay, and now it's going to appear in my class menu. This is also where you can not only add yourself to each class, but transfer ownership of a class from one teacher to another. And then you can also archive. So if you're going through this list and you're looking, oh, okay, here we go. I got 2021, 2021. These are old classes. I need to get rid of them. So I'm going to click archive class and archive it. So another new tool, very helpful. Before you had to be connected to a class in order to archive it. Now you can go through as an admin or school leader and archive any old class listed here in your directory. If you know that there are classes that exist, but you don't see them here, then it's likely that the teacher that owns the class is not connected to your school yet. So you would write into our support team at schoolleaders@classdojo.com, and we can help locate that class and push it into your directory so you can see it and have that visibility and be able to transfer it to yourself, archive it, do whatever you want with it. So you just let us know. But this is where you can, like I said, add yourself, transfer classes, archive classes, and create a new class. All right, so I'm going to hop back over to our slides and quickly catch up. So we've got how you can invite teachers, step by step, how you can invite lots of teachers, what those requests look like when they come in from teachers. Something else, if you see here that your domain needs to be updated, then you can write into us and we can help do that for you. Again, how to update your student roster, graduate students, merge students, remove students, takes you step by step, how to bulk remove students, how to add your new students, how to archive your classes. And now you've got those old classes archived and you're ready to create new classes. So like I said, when you created new classes, it's up to you, admin, school leader, whoever's leading the charge and getting everything set up. You can certainly create all the classes and then share those classes with the teachers teaching them. You can also have teachers create their own classes. If you're in a situation where you have most of your student body already in your directory and you're just needing to add a few new students, then your teachers, when they add students to their classes, can fill in your directory, because when they add those new students to their class, those new students are going to get pushed into your directory. So for example, if I have a class and say your teachers created their class, or you created their class and now they're in it, they're getting it rostered. They're going to start by typing in the first few letters of a student's name. They're going to see these are the students in the directory. They're always going to want to choose the student that already exists in the directory and add them to the class. Just click, now Haley Williams is going to be added. But if I have a new student, let's say I have Brad Young, and he's not auto-populating, that means he's not in the directory. So I'm going to add Brad manually. Manually meaning I'm putting his name in myself, and now when I save, remind me later, and I go back to my directory, I'm going to see that now Brad has been added right here. Under other, because that was the class. The class is an other category class. So when your teachers are adding students to their classes, that also fills in your directory. And that's another way of going about that. Then when it comes to sharing classes, the teachers under your teacher tab here, your options, edit class. This is where you've got your class name, grade. Highly recommend naming classes the same way, coming up with a plan for how all the teachers will name classes, and to be as specific as possible. So the grade, the name of the teacher, the year, it really does help in the long run, the more specific you are. So I've got student tab, family tab, where I invite parents. This is where I can set up my custom skills. And then teachers is where I determine who's connected to the class and who's not. So as the class owner can, in this window, invite more co-teachers or remove co-teachers, or make another co-teacher the owner. But all these other teachers that are co-teachers in the class, they can do everything else. They can message parents, they can give feedback, they can post a class story. The only thing that these co-teachers cannot do is add and remove other teachers from this class. So if you want to stay a co-teacher in the classes to be able to interact and do everything in the class, then you should. That's a great idea. Back to here. Here's a little bit of some guidance on school leader creating classes, some naming conventions, and some ways that you can connect and assign classes. We talked about that, how you add students to classes, adding new students. And now we're going to go over really quickly, as we're running out of time, all the various ways you can connect parents. So like I said, when you have a parent connection off the bat in the directory, when you're adding a parent email, when you import a student, then let's see, this student or this parent email I invited, once the parent logs in or gets that invite sent to them, creates their account, they will be connected to Ellen and any class that Ellen is added to. So if I pull Ellen into a 3rd grade class here, the parent connection is automatically going to connect to the class. If you don't have a parent email in there in the directory as you're adding, no problem. You can go to the class and the teachers can invite parents there. And this is where they can invite parents in several different ways. So they can invite via an email invite, a text invite. They can share a class link that parents follow. They enter the student name of the student they want to connect to, and that sends a request to the teacher. The teacher then has to approve that request before the parent can connect to that student. If you have parents who speak other languages, then our individual printouts would probably be your best bet, because you can download them right here, these PDFs in various languages. The PDF has a P code. That means it's like a 8 or 9 digit, starts with the letter P, and then it's numbers and letters. And that parent enters that code into their account to connect to that specific student in the class. So the P codes are unique to students, and that code would then connect the parent to all of the students' classes. All right, so lots of ways that you can connect parents very easily. Once the parent is connected, that the new parent is connected that one time, then each year, like I showed, whenever that student is added to their new class, the parent connection follows the student year to year, so they don't have to be invited every fall. Next steps. You made it through the webinar. Great job. Now you can go to ClassDojo schools to identify your school, if you have not already, as a ClassDojo school. That means you plan to use ClassDojo school-wide for parent communication. If you have any questions about that, reach out to us, but we want to know which schools plan to go school-wide, plan to use it for school-wide communication, because we want to offer priority support to those schools. We want to offer more resources, more invitations to these webinars. We know that you need more support and help, and we want to be there for you and give that to you. With that, we've got lots of live webinars and PD sessions coming up. So check out classdojo.com/training to see our schedule. And if you have an instance where you need some more personal one-on-one support, then you can use that link there to schedule a 20-minute Zoom chat with myself or one of my team members, and we can get that all sorted out for you right then and there. All right, so that's pretty much it for today. If you have any additional questions, concerns, like I said, need some more technical support, you can email us at schoolleaders@classdojo.com, and we'll get to you ASAP. Right now is a good time before all of the parents start getting connected, and we are going to get a lot more help requests. But right now we are responding to all teachers and school leaders within a couple hours. So we are getting to you ASAP because we know this is an important, crucial time to get everything set up. So we're here for you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great rest of your day or night. And we'll see you in the Facebook communities. Thank you, everyone.